Hi guys, thank you again for tuning into my channel. It is Jazzy. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get into this video. There's not really an intro or anything. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you know how in an everyday life people go through struggles, like I mentioned in my last video on the daily quote or the day quote of anxiety. Today is also a day quote of anxiety. I won't get into what I actually do until May. So let's just go ahead and talk about what's actually going on. Today is March 14th, and there's people in the world that are experiencing this coronavirus that's going around, that started, they say it started in China, but really, to be honest with you, it's been around for years. And there's people out here. I just came from Kroger and Albertsons just to find paper towels, which it's not really a big deal to me. I just needed one roll and that's it. I don't go crazy on let me get like 7 packs of 7 packs of paper towels and toilet paper and all this other stuff. Like, I've been to Costco months ago, even before we even heard about this coronavirus, and I still have toilet paper that Costco has these bundles of toilet paper, and I took one and I still have like almost 17 left. So it's just like, I don't really go through toilet paper like most people do. I don't really go through paper towels, but apparently I'm on my last roll, and I'm not really picky about using little napkins or whatever you get from, like, for parties and stuff. So I'm not really picky about that. There's people out here that are going very crazy about this coronavirus. They experience it, they're like, oh my god, I'm sick, I might have it, or oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. I don't want to stay away from family. I don't want to stay away from my grandparents and stuff. Because they say that the coronavirus affects people with weak immune systems, and that's basically known for, like, seniors. They're around 65 and older, because their immune system is pretty bad, apparently. So, like, my parents are telling me to stay away from my grandparents, but it's like, is it that big of a deal though? But to be honest with you, we will never know. Should I isolate my room? I mean, should I isolate myself in my room, or should I live in a bubble, or should I not go to work, or because I work where there's germs everywhere. I touch a bag, I touch someone, there's a germ right there. And if someone coughs in their hand, they shake your hand, they're like, okay, you got the germ. And I try not to shake everyone's hand. I try not to give people hugs, because I don't know what they have. I mostly fist pump or just say hi and be moving on. So it's just like, people are going very crazy about this coronavirus, and you see me over here just blogging about it, and I'm over here like, okay, so when's the next virus going out? Because the last time we saw, I think the last one I remember was Ebola. They would come from Africa and stuff like that. That's basically what I'd be hearing, Ebola and stuff like that. And now it's the coronavirus. So it's just like, and there's swine flu, there's the zinc virus. I mean, the zinc one that came from mosquitoes, and there's many more other viruses. But the coronavirus actually has been around for years. And back in the 1950s, somewhere around there, they had basically the same thing that's going on today. People are going crazy and all this other stuff. People are dying. So, it's I just see it just like, okay, just take a breather, relax, it's okay. Calm down. There's no necessary why to buy 17 packs and bundles of toilet paper. For what? Because people are getting sick, and they don't want to pass it out and whatever. And I kind of understand that. And I can understand that people want to protect yourself. You should protect yourself. You know, you should always wash your hands where, without, I mean, wash your hands when you're, after you're using the restroom, wash your hands after you dealing with something very dirty and very germy. I just got out of the shower, so I'm pretty clean. I'm not pretty clean, I'm amazingly clean. So it's, you know, make sure you take care of yourself, make sure you're taking your vitamins and minerals and all that other good stuff. And I applaud to people that are already doing that and, you know, want to help other people out on, you know, this tragic that we're going through. And prayers go out to all those people that lost their lives and all those family members that have someone that's going through it. And my prayers go out to you and to the loved ones. So let's get back into this video. I just wanted to just give you my idea of how I felt about the coronavirus and how people are reacting, because it's oh my gosh, it's crazy. Okay, so like I said, I just got out the shower. I just, in my head, I was like, I should, you know, make a video. Let's talk about the anxiety again and what my mind's process of writing down this inspiration. Hopefully everything I write down inspires to someone or someone in need when they're going through anxiety, because I know a couple of people that are going through anxiety, and you know, we try to work together on certain things. You know, either people are like new to it and they're not really adjusting to, you know, why it's happening to me, and you know, all this stuff. And you know, I will actually get down to detail of what I actually do in my video in May. And you know, at this moment I just can't wait to do that, because it's just like, I'm very excited. I want to show you what I do. I want to tell you how I deal with it for 4.5 years. My last video, I did say my anxiety started in 2013, but really it started in 2016. My mind works faster than my mouth, or my mouth works faster than my mind. It's one of those two. So January 2016 is when I first experienced my extremely tragic of anxiety. So yeah, I just wanted to clear that up before, you know, it gets too deep into it and people are like, well, you said you had anxiety back in 2013. No, not exactly. I had anxiety. I found out I had anxiety and the tragedy happened in 2016. So we'll get more into that anyway. So usually I write dates on this, but apparently on this one I read it to make sure it doesn't sound crazy like my other one, because I couldn't apparently read my other handwriting. So it's just like, oh goodness. So on this one, basically it's like my mindset on what goes through my mind, and you shouldn't doubt yourself in any way or any form, because you know, if you start doubting yourself, you know, you won't move on to what's more important in life. And all this tragic that's going on with the virus, and you know, people getting sick and people are dying. And you know, on the news today, I was just like, this dude just really just said it, like, you know, if you have grandparents, your loved ones, please stay away from them, because if they end up catching it, they will die. And he actually just said that on live TV, and I was like, oh my god, he's so brutal with that. But you know, it's okay. You know, sometimes like people shouldn't cover up what's actually going on, because if you know what actually is going on, you should expect the reaction to whatever the situation is. So in this one, I'm just gonna go ahead and read it, and then if I do stop between reading it, that's basically me explaining and stuff like that. So let's get into it. Okay, so I don't have a title on this one. Usually I put titles, I don't know how titles, but anyway, it says, the feeling that goes through my mind can mean so many things, but to understand what it's trying to tell you. Some people say listen to your dreams because it's trying to tell you something. And you know, that is kind of true. You know, if you're most people are like, if you listen to your dreams, they're trying to tell you something. And yes, it is true, because I had this dream one day that it blew my mind, and I'm not gonna say it because I'm gonna wait until my big day. So I'm gonna wait until May for that. So basically, it just basically lifted me up, and I felt like I was there communicating, and I had this feeling that it was real, and I was like, okay, let me listen to it when I wake up. So I woke up and I was like, I said what I had to say, and then move on, and people will understand. That's why I tell people, never go to sleep mad or angry, because it's not a good thing. And I experienced it, and it's just like, it's really hard to explain, but to be honest with you, it can put a really good toll on you, to be honest. Okay, so it's so hard sometimes. It basically can give me a headache or feel not myself, and I feel like I'm alone all the time. So I basically, because, okay, so me feeling alone all the time, it makes me feel better when I'm talking to somebody. Like, it could be my dad. Of course, I love, to be honest with you, I love talking to my dad. Even though we have a weird daddy-daughter relationship, but it's just like, it's like his vibe and his knowledge and all the information that he's been telling me for years. It's not like, I do listen. It's just I wanted to listen in my own way, but he does make me he does make me feel better. When I was going through, I never told him this, but every time I went through this anxiety attack, I always wanted, I'm going to visit my dad at his barbershop. That's why I was always there in 2016. I was always there every day, just sitting with him, or just going to his barbershop and just sit there. And that made me feel better. It made me it made me find who I am as a person. And being around my father, it's amazing, because I love my dad to death. I truly do. But it's just like, it's sometimes it's hard, because how I express my feelings to most people is, I don't really do it verbally. I can write it down, then I can read it to you, but I can't just sit down with you and just tell you what's going on. I have to either write it down, send it to you as a letter, or stuff like that. So it's just like, but my dad is the biggest part of me that basically lift me up from what I was going through. And of course, my mom, I love my mom too. It's like equal love between both of my parents, and I my mom had some way to support me, and my dad has some way to support me also. It's just like two different people just supporting the same person, but it's like I take information from two different people differently. That's basically what's what it is. So to move on, not to make this video so long. Okay, so I want to inspire people to express their feelings, because it's always good. You're gonna basically make yourself crazy if you hold everything in, because I've done that. I have done that. It's always good to, so that you don't go crazy by holding everything in, and which isn't good. I want to say that you're not alone, and you can contact me through email or through my IG. You shouldn't put yourself down. Take it day at a time, and don't rush through it, because if you rush through it, who knows how it will like infect your life, you know what I'm saying? So there's people out here that, you know, I want to get rid of this feeling. I want to get rid of, I want to, you know, I don't want to go through anxiety anymore. I don't want to worry about anything anymore. And you know, it's pretty hard because people out here do. I'm not gonna just say I'm the only one that goes through it. There's everyone goes through anxiety, and you know, they need that encouragement to lift themselves up. And you know, I will talk about my story, and I'm like proudly glad to talk about my story, because you know, I never had that chance to actually explain what actually happened, how my anxiety started, and how my depression went, and all that other stuff. So you know, it will be a very interesting month for May. And you know, it was hard for me to just telling people what actually going on, because it triggers my anxiety, and I go through the moment like it was even yesterday all over again, and it's horrible. I'm telling you, I don't wish what I go through, I don't wish that on anybody. I really don't, because it was hard for me at first, because I didn't have nobody. I felt alone sometimes. And you know, expressing myself now is just like, it took me 4.5 years to express myself, to come up into the camera and tell you that I went through this, I'm going through this. I'm gonna explain my journey on, you know, how I dealt with anxiety, how I planned on, you know, trying to lift myself up and trying to inspire people on never hold back. Never hold back, because if you hold back, then you will always stay in the same place that you always been. And you know, always, if you do believe in God, just always pray. He's always here watching over you. Even though, you know, I pray in my journal. That's how I pray. And people have different ways to pray. And for me, it's one of those biggest things that, you know, you don't realize, because I have been to church one day, and when I was going through my depression, and my parents didn't. I wanted to mask my depression and tell people that I'm okay. And you know, even though deep and down inside of me, I was not. And you know, when I stepped into that church and I sat down, and the preacher started talking, and bam, it hit me that, you know, I didn't know he was going to talk about it. I didn't know it was going to affect me personally, but it did. It lifted my spirit. It's like, oh, there is hope. There is hope for me to move on. And you know, I can inspire myself, getting more motivated of, you know, not being so sad and not being so depressed about my life and my bad choices and all this other nonsense that went on in my life. And you know, it's one of those things. It's just like, sometimes you just gotta listen. And I know how hard it is for someone to just sit there and listen, but sometimes you just gotta do it. And you know, stay positive mind, positive vibe, happy place. That's basically my motto, because it's true, because I get positive vibes from positive people. I get positive mindset because I think positive all the time. If you think negative all the time, you'll actually be in the worst state I ever seen. So so today, please have a good night. It's about 11, I'm guessing. Please have a good night, and I hope to see y'all in my next video. It will be probably either next week or so, or maybe even tomorrow, who knows. So I'll hit y'all back soon. Good night, bye.